Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm joined by Katara right here. Oh, well I guess I'm no longer joined by her. I was gonna say she was gonna make a guest appearance. I'm sure she'll be back. Today I want to chat you through some books that I think are going to be new favorites when I get around to them. 5-star reads, 5-star predictions, whatever you want to call this type of video. This is it. I thought it'd be fun for my second video to sit down again and just chat through some anticipated reads for me. I think that gives you even more of an idea of the books that I like. I would love to make a reading vlog at some stage, but I think I need to get a little bit more comfortable just in general with the editing and posting system before I jump straight into the deep end of hours and hours and hours of editing. But that will be coming because reading vlogs are my favorite things to watch, so they will be coming. I have a few ideas as well. Let us jump into this. This is in no particular order. There is no rhyme or reason. I just pulled them out of my bookshelf. First up on my list, The Myth of Normal by Gabor Mate and his son Daniel Mate. I've heard quite a bit about this book. It's been on the internet, it's been making the rounds. A few of my favorite booktubers have read it, they've really liked it. People that I know in my personal life have also really liked this and highly recommended it to me. So I definitely think this will be a 5-star kind of life-changing sort of book. This is the only nonfiction on the list, and it is a psychology / self-help type of book. It's a chunky one, so it will definitely take me probably most of 2025 to read it, but I'm really looking forward to this. This is all about illness, health, and healing in a toxic culture. Number 2, City of Saints and Madmen by Jeff Vandermeer. Now this will be my very first Jeff Vandermeer book. I don't know whether this is a good place to start with him, but I've decided to just go ahead and get this copy. I know this is the first in a trilogy of sorts. I don't know that you have to read them all in order, but regardless, I would read them in order because I am that kind of reader. I have heard a little bit about it online. Again, some booktubers that I really like have talked about this and really like it. And I think I'm gonna like this perhaps more than I would Annihilation, which is it Annihilation, the first one? The Southern Reach trilogy, which is now a quartet because another one just came out, which I think is where most people start with him. But I've watched the movie for Annihilation and I didn't love the movie. I think it's quite different from the book, but still I think I remember it too well to really dive into Annihilation first, so I thought I'm gonna go with City of Saints and Madmen. In City of Saints and Madmen, Jeff Vandermeer introduces us to a cast of characters no less strange and compelling than the city of Ambergris itself. A would-be Suda discovers that a sunlit street can become a killing ground in the blink of an eye. An artist receives an invitation to a beheading and finds himself enchanted. An eccentric guide to Ambergris, written by a down-and-out historian, warns of impending doom for the city. And everywhere, on the walls of courtyards and churches, there grows an incandescent fungus of mysterious and ominous origin. He's very well known for his writings of the weird, and he has a bunch of anthologies that he's edited with his wife. He's obviously very famous. I don't need to introduce him to you. This is the kind of book where either it'll be a favorite or it won't gel with me at all, and that'll be the only Vandermeer that I read, potentially. Next on the list, A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. I have read this book actually, but it is a stand-in for the whole Earthsea cycle by Ursula K. Le Guin. It's the only book in the cycle that I've read yet, but I really loved it, and I think as a whole this cycle will be a favorite of mine. Pretty much anything that Ursula K. Le Guin has written is a favorite of mine, so I think this is a very safe bet. If you don't know about it, it's like a classic modern of fantasy, and it's middle grade, and I think you can read it at any age. It's got beautiful messages, and it's got beautiful writing, and it really transports you into the world. Earthsea is enchanting. I just really liked this, and I have no doubt that I'm gonna love the rest. Next up is a book I've already mentioned in my last video, but nonetheless, it deserves a spot on this list. The Summer That Melted Everything by Tiffany McDaniel. I love everything Tiffany McDaniel has written so far. The only one I didn't like as much was her latest adult release, On the Savage Side, which was really difficult to read, but very well written. It was no fault of the author that I enjoyed it less than her other novels. It was maybe a little bit too hard for me to read. But The Summer That Melted Everything is my last book of hers that I haven't read yet. And I've read 3 of her books by now. I know she's a 5-star author for me. Auto-buy. I will buy everything she writes blindly. Fielding Bliss has never forgotten the summer of 1984. The year a heat wave scorched the small town of Breathed, Ohio. The year he became friends with the devil. When a tattered and bruised 13-year-old boy turns up in Breathed, claiming to be Satan himself, everybody assumes he's just a runaway. But when strange things start happening to the townsfolk, there are those who start to believe that Sal is exactly who he claims to be. If that doesn't sound like a 5-star prediction to me, then I don't know what will. Next up, White Teeth by Zadie Smith. I have read one book by Zadie Smith in the past. That was Swing Time, which I read in 2022, I believe, and I really liked it. Not at all what I was anticipating when I picked it up. I expected a lot about dancing. It ended up not being that much about dancing at all, but it was just transportive. I was there, I could believe it, I saw it all. Really, really liked it. And White Teeth, I have heard so much about. This book is so highly acclaimed. I actually don't even really know what this one is about either. I just know it's her debut novel, and I don't really want to know that much. And I just want to go into it without any expectations, apart from knowing it's one of her best rated novels. Now, I have 2 big fat books. And the first one is Perdido Street Station by China Mieville. And I'm sorry if the lighting is a little bit all over the place now. I do have the sun facing me, and that's just how it's gonna be today. Again, I have seen this on YouTube channels that I trust. I've never read a Mieville ever. This will be my first one. I think this is not a bad place to start with his books, and it is an absolute doorstopper. Like, how many pages is this? About 900. So, a big book. I also don't know too much about this. I know it's kind of cyberpunkish, set in a city, like it's urban fantasy, but has some steampunk / cyberpunk aspects to it. This is also the first in a trilogy. I've heard some people say it's very pretentious. They really don't like it, and then other people really, really like it and find that the writing style really works with the story. So I'm hoping I will be part of that latter group. Let's see what this is about. The metropolis of New Corbizon sprawls at the center of the world. Humans and mutants and arcane races brood in the gloom beneath its chimneys, where the river is sluggish with unnatural effluent and factories and foundries pound into the night. For more than 1,000 years, the Parliament and its brutal militia have ruled here, over a vast economy of workers and artists, spies and soldiers, magicians, junkies, and whores. Now, a stranger has arrived with a pocket full of gold and an impossible demand, and inadvertently, clumsily, something unthinkable is released. As the city becomes gripped by an alien terror, the fate of millions lies with a clutch of renegades and outcasts on the run from lawmakers and crime lords alike. The urban nightscape becomes a hunting ground. Battles rage in the shadows of uncanny architecture, and a reckoning is due at the city's heart under the vast chaotic vaults of Perdido Street Station. I think this is more science fiction than it is fantasy, but regardless, those are 2 of my favorite genres. I did read the first page, or I read like the first page of chapter 1. I didn't read like the prologue, and I liked the descriptions straight away. So I think I'm in for a good time. I think I will be in the group that loves this and raves about this. On a completely different level, Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. Now, this book is also really extremely famous. It won the Man Booker Prize. I think the next book in this trilogy also won the Booker Prize. It's historical fiction, very, very famous. Hilary Mantel is a household name when it comes to historical fiction. And again, I've never read anything by her. So 2025 is going to be the year where I finally meet some very famous authors that I think will be new favorites. I found this secondhand the other day at a bookshop I'd never been to, but I really, really like. They have these floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. It was amazing. They had so much, and I saw this and I was like, okay, well, it's coming home with me. All I know is it's set in the Tudors' time, and we're following Cromwell. And that's all I know. And I don't really want to know any more about this book. I just want to go into it and enjoy it. And hopefully this lives up to all the hype that I've seen for it online. And now I have 2 graphic novels, or 2 compendiums, should I say. First up, Paper Girls, The Complete Story by Brian K. Vaughan. Brian Vaughan is the writer, and then we've got Cliff Chiang, Matt Wilson, and Jared K. Fletcher, who I think illustrated the story. Yeah, artist colors letters. This one is, as I just mentioned, The Complete Story. Very famous comics. If you're into your comics, you probably know this. I love Brian K. Vaughan. Saga is one of my favorite comics of all time, and I've had this on my shelves for a little bit. I've also read the first volume of Y the Last Man, which I liked. And I also read, what was it called? Deus Ex Machina, that he wrote before he really became very famous, which was fine. Not a favorite, but Paper Girls, I think, is bound to become a new favorite, like Saga. First of all, the art is so cool. I love the art. It's sci-fi, it's fantasy, it's girl friendships. I think I'm in for a good time. I don't see a world in which I don't like this. Again, it has been recommended by a good few people, so I believe I'm gonna like this. And it's thick. I really like when I have the full story. I will much prefer buying a compendium over single issues if I can avoid it. I will wait for a compendium, unless the compendium is like 9 volumes long and it's really too heavy to hold. This is on the verge of being too heavy to hold, but still manageable. It's not like I'm going to travel with it. I'm just going to read it at my desk. I like that I'm not going to have to go looking for volume 3 down the road and not be able to find it for months at a time, because that has always been an issue in comics, but even more so since COVID, so I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. Last but not least, another comic series, another compendium. Descender, the Compendium Volume 1 by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. This is sci-fi. I actually don't know that much about what it's about, but I looked at the art online before I bought it, and I love this style. The colors and the art. It's really difficult to show it on camera, but 10 years after planet-sized robots called Harvesters appeared and wreaked havoc across the galaxy, a young android named Tim-21 wakes to find that all robots have been outlawed. But Tim may hold the secrets to the Harvesters in his machine DNA, and he quickly becomes the most wanted robot in the universe. With bounty hunters and threats lurking at every turn, Tim embarks on a mind-blowing adventure through the stars along with his robot dog, Bandit, and the lumbering mining droid Drilla. This sounds like it's gonna be a new favorite. I'm easier to please with comics as well, I believe. If they're good length and there's enough time to actually delve into the themes, then typically I will know straight away what I'm going to like, what I'm not going to like, and 100% I'm gonna like this. The art style as well, I think, is really going to elevate the story. I can't wait. This is making me really excited to read this. And that's it. There is one more, but I've already mentioned it. I already know it's a 5 stars because I'm literally halfway through the series. That's the Life Ship Trader trilogy. I cannot think that I'm not gonna give this 5 stars. I'm just gonna mention it here because this is literally in the making, happening right now. It's not really a prediction for this one, it's basically a given. But here we are. These are all the books that I believe I'm going to give 5 stars to. And this is fun because now I get to look back at this video whenever I finish this stack and get to go back and see whether I did give them 5 stars or not. And I have seen Meg with Books do this, where she's made prediction videos for 5 stars, and then a year or two down the line she's watched them back and made another video and gone through them and chatted about them. And I think that's such a fun idea. So maybe I will copy Meg and do this as well. I hope this gives you a bit of an idea of what I really like to read. If you've read any of these books, please let me know what you thought about them. If you kind of get a feeling for my taste from these, let me know if you think I'm gonna like them. It'd be nice to chat about the ones you've read. No spoilers, of course. Please, no spoilers. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, night, whatever, however much of the day you have left at the time of watching. And I will see you in the next one.